What is going on, gamers and YouTubers? My name is Pink, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to go from shots looking like these to shots looking like these. Alright, so how does one go about getting power shots? Well, it comes down to three basic principles. If you consistently practice these as a new player, you'll rank up faster and you'll be more consistent in your shots when you begin to play faster. The first principle I want to share with you is hit placement. Hit placement is where your card is hitting the ball. Essentially, where you're hitting the thing. Leading into the second principle is your card's hitbox. If you didn't know, different cards in Rocket League have different hitboxes, and where the hitbox comes in contact with the ball will generate different levels of power. And then number three, which is honestly kind of the simplest, is your momentum. But there's something in particular about momentum that I'm going to point out through illustration in just a minute. Usually, when you have at least two of these, your hits are going to have some power. But when you combine all three, that's when you get some clangers. So let's circle back to number one. So, hit placement. Imagine for just a minute that the ball on the screen is in the air and not on the ground. When you are going up to hit the ball, you should be aiming to hit the very center every time. Any deviation from the center will only make you lose power. And this applies to where your car is in relation to the ball, both horizontally, pictured on the right, and vertically, pictured on the left. An easy way to tell if you're hitting the ball dead center is if it's spinning after you hit it. If it's spinning towards the ceiling, you hit it on the bottom. If it's spinning towards the ground, you hit it on the top. If it's spinning towards the left, you hit it on the right. And if it's spinning towards the right, you hit it on the left. But when the ball isn't spinning, that means you got a perfect hit on the ball. Obviously, this can be very difficult to do, especially when there's other factors like the ball's speed, your car's speed, the angle you're approaching, other players in the game. If you've taken a shower that day, we all have our excuses and the list goes on and on. But just know that when you see the ball spinning, that means you lost a little power on that hit. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you're trying to place the shot in a particular spot in the goal. And you can definitely hit some power shots while the ball's spinning. All I'm trying to say here is, if it is spinning, you didn't hit it as hard as you could have. So now let's talk about point number two, your hitbox. You've probably discovered by now that you can produce different levels of power based on what part of the car you hit the ball with. Those power levels, broken down from strongest to least strongest, are the front, producing the most power, the top, sides, and back, producing the second most, and the bottom, producing the least. Now, I'm not saying you can't produce very strong shots with the sides or the bottom, but I am saying the front will consistently produce the strongest shots because of your car's momentum, which brings us into our third and final point, momentum, which is arguably the least important factor for producing power shots. And I say that because you could be driving supersonic all the time, and supersonic means you have these trails behind your car, but if you don't have your hits placed in the right spot on the ball with the right portion of your hitbox, the result will still be an average shot even if you are moving supersonic. And you didn't click on this video to score average shots. You clicked on this video to score boomers. So, momentum can be broken down into three more subcategories: the direction of your momentum, flicking, and boosting. Direction ties in with hit placement. This is because the further your car's momentum deviates from the center of the ball, the less power you will achieve in the shot, especially if you're trying to achieve a very sharp angle like you can see pictured here. But this is where flicks come in and why they're so important. You can adjust the direction of your car's momentum by the way that you flick just moments before hitting the ball, to a certain degree, of course. Let me show you what I mean. In these 3 clips, I'm flicking from the center of the court in 3 different patterns. In the first one, I'm flicking straight, which had me landing in the green. For the second one, I'm flipping diagonally to the left, which had me landing in the purple. And for the third one, I'm turning my card to the left 90 degrees and then flicking straight, which had me landing in the red. As you can see, when it came to the first flick and the second flick, being the straight and the diagonal, I was able to carry my momentum through the shot. In the third flick, where I landed shorter, my flick power went this way, my car's momentum went this way, and overall, my car slowed down, as opposed to keeping my momentum, ergo, keeping power. And for the last point of momentum is boosting. Even after you've achieved supersonic speeds, you can actually go 5% faster by holding down your boost. And that is why it is absolutely critical that when you go for any shot, pretty much at any angle, when you have the opportunity, you should be holding down your boost while you're going for the shot. If you don't do anything else in this tutorial, at least do that. I promise you, 10 out of 10 times, you will produce stronger shots. And if you're on the standard default button layouts like I am, where B is boost and A is jump, it might require a little bit of finagling with your thumb. But if you can kind of get that down where you have it perfectly placed in your controller, you're gonna have stronger and stronger shots, especially if you're a new player. You're gonna be catching your goalies off guard all the time. So Pink, all this information you're giving me is great, but how do I test out if I'm actually able to hit some bangers? Don't worry fam, I got you. I went ahead and already queued up this massive training pack for you. And how do you get to that training pack? Well, first, head on over to training, then click on custom training, followed by browse at the top in the tab, and then move on down to enter code. That code you see on the right hand side, that's the training, plug it in, and you'll be good to go. So I've got 2 examples for you. In the first example, I want you to use no boost and shoot the ball. If you're averaging anywhere between 49 to 51 miles per hour, you're doing good. And you're hitting the ball in the right spot, and you're getting really good power for not boosting. And for the second shot, I want you to use your boost. And once again, if you're anywhere in the ballpark between 68 miles per hour and 70 miles per hour, you're also looking really good. Those are some strong shots. You should be really happy with that. If you consistently do this practice, you're going to subconsciously train yourself to start hitting the ball like this every single time. Well, thanks for watching this video. If you got anything out of this at all that made you do one of these, then smash that like and subscribe button down below. And I want to know, what do you guys call your power shots? Boomers? Zingers? Clangers? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear it. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.